free Nigeria Info.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And don't worry, why I laughed straight to the program is that I was getting into this argument with Kofi Battles. Then Sheriff whips me into line. And let's go. Time is gone. Today I'm going to just sit down and get you to ask me questions. Now let these questions be reasonable, please. And it's not a fun thing either. It's not not personal questions, but asking me questions about the things that have to do, with the country, with the current state of the country, and just for us to rub minds. You'll be given a minute each, as usual. The numbers to call haven't changed. 020. I hope the lines are working though.
Yes.
020-12770-993. And the female line is 020-1465-7190. Now let's watch our language, okay? This is not to persecute anybody. It's just that I know people ask me outside the program, and please, I'd like if you didn't really do that. If you have the advantage of knowing my phone number, and then people keep sending me WhatsApp and DM me for X and stuff like that. But this is an opportunity for you to just call and ask me, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? Also, there have been complaints that we don't cover some areas. You can't cover all areas. So this is an opportunity, but please, let's keep... Sheriff is at the controls and is a master of the game when it comes to that. We'll disconnect you and we don't want to ban your number from calling. So the lines are open now already. I think I have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
What do you want to ask me? Tell me. Straight to the point.
Hello, sir.
Straight to the point. Go on. What do you want to ask me?
Okay. The question I want to ask is that NNPC say we are importing petrol from overseas.
Yes.
So I want to know whether are we importing petrol from overseas or we are paying for logistics, transport costs to bring back our refined crude oil. My name is Chika. I'm calling from Apapa.
Okay. I don't understand the full... I think I have an idea of what your question is, but I can't say for sure that this is what you had in mind. But what I do know is that as confused as you are, I'm also confused. The whole thing is shrouded in mystery. The issue of PMS is shrouded in mystery. And a lot of what is going on, it defies logic. I don't think I need to have a PhD in economics to be able to put some things together and see that I don't understand where all this is going. It's also not helped by the back and forth that the to and fro, that today is this policy, tomorrow NNPC says this, today NNPC says this, tomorrow NNPC says this, and so on and so forth. I would have thought that at least in principle, the whole idea of having a refinery in the first instance is to bring down the cost of PMS to the consumer. And that would have allowed what you would really call a subsidy, because under normal circumstances, what would have been to say that, okay, since transportation is a cost element, and since PMS is very crucial to local small-scale industries, your barber, your hairdresser, your this, your that, and there's a power problem and you're going to run generators. Okay, NNPC, Dangote, we are going to give you crude at this price, with the condition that by the time you produce, you sell at this price. Now, the whole idea, what you then hear is government gives you that very good ready-made excuse that, oh, it means that petrol will be smuggled across the border. Then you should tighten the borders. I mean, that's it. If you can't do that, then you have no business being in government. We don't elect governments for excuses. We elect them for, if other countries can control their borders, why can't we? So so that's it from a logical standpoint. This whole Dangote thing now has become a complete disappointment, because even I was naively thinking that, oh, with Dangote in now, we'll be able to at least get some comfort and relief. Because the cost element of petrol is fundamental to our economy, to the survival of our economy. It's simple science. There's no need to, I'm not a genius by saying that. Any stances pupil should know that. But we refuse to do so, and then your guess is as good as mine. Some people are hell-bent on that importation because of the subsidy that it provides an opportunity. You will come up with this argument that, okay, we bought in the fuel at this price, and we need this price to balance it up. I don't know why NNPC wants to exert so much control. Recently, we heard NNPC was going to buy up all the petrol from Dangote. They backpedaled, and this morning they told the oil majors to lift oil on the NNPC arrangement. Why should that happen? If the MD of Mobil can put a call through to Dangote and say, like, look, Dangote, every month I'm going to buy X million of whatever, and I need a discount to bring down my prices. Isn't that what we should be doing? If the MD of Owando can say that, well, like, look, listen, Dangote, look, we want this. In fact, we want to add something to it. We want to be selling 5-star petrol at a premium, because some of you don't know that when I grew up in this country, we had petrol, we had ordinary, we had super, and we had 5-star sold out there in the market. You see it written on the way back then. And so the ordinary were for the 504s and whatever in those days. The super were for those who had like Corollas and wanted some upmarket. Then the 5-star were for the big boys. Because what is happening now, some of our people, I look at them and I laugh. I recently had a Mercedes, an ML 350. Okay, and one of the major reasons why I sold it was that my what do you call this light now? This light that comes on if there's a problem with the engine. Check engine light was always on. And so when I took it to Larry, and Larry is my Mercedes man, when I took it to him and they checked it, and what happened? It was the fuel. There was something wrong with the combustion of the engine, and it was the fuel. And I now got to know that Range Rover has the same problem. These high net worth vehicles have the same problem. So we need to open up the market. All just buying Rolls Royce and putting kerosene in the engine is a disaster waiting to happen. But just like you said, myself, I confused past yourself. I don't know what's in there happen. I don't even think the spokesman of NNPC can explain some of these things, because usually when you hear the point say that they tried to contact him and he didn't answer them. So that's my answer to that one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jim.
Yes.
This is Adesha from Nikurudu. I have two questions.
You can only one, please. So, there's no time, please. Go straight to one question.
What's the way out about this educational sector? What do you think?
The way out of what?
I was journalism during your own time.
No, what was your? You have asked two questions. Don't be. I'll knock out that call. I'll move on to the next caller.
Okay,
I believe in discipline. Let's call the next caller, please. Hello. It is saying smart.
Hello, Uncle Jaden. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes.
Emeka is my name from Satellite Town.
Yes.
Yes. In the light of this Yahaya Bello saga, sir, don't you think it is time we interrogate this issue of immunity on governors, sitting governors?
Okay,
because
thank you.
You'll agree with me now they are becoming emperors. especially when they use that immunity to obstruct the course of justice.
Yes.
Don't you think it's high time we come up with some piece of legislation to define what immunity actually means for a governor?
Yeah, thank you.
Governor.
Nice one there. But the first thing to notice is that Yaya doesn't have immunity as we speak. Okay, he doesn't have immunity as we speak. And I think that the sad thing is that for as long as we have the politicians deciding what and what should not be in our constitution, we are going to be held by the jugular by things like this. You see, every politician has an ambition to be a governor or a president and whatever. And therefore, so in a subconscious manner, prepares the ground. It's like declaration of assets. Look at I don't know why, if you want to serve the public, nobody puts a gun to your head to serve the public. But if you want to, you must come with equity, and you must come to equity with clean hands. But the politicians put up this argument that, if you declare your assets, people around you will be worrying you, knowing what you have. And I think that's a lot of crap, because the truth of the matter is that everybody knows that once you have public office in this country today, money don't come be that. You go open bowl for the Catholic Church Bazaar. On the day they are doing Asalatu, you will be the chief this and chief that. I will probably make you Baba Adini, or in the church make you knight and things like that. We allow these politicians play to the gallery, and I'm hoping that one day we'll be able to push these politicians to a corner to do the bidding that would suit us. We are so lax, our laws are so lax, and they are deliberately like that. How would you believe these so-called independent local governments who are fighting for? There was a time people were fighting on their behalf, and they told them to mind their business. We'd like to be under the state government. That's a politician for you. The local government wants to be in the good books of the governor, so that maybe one day Providence will smile on him, and he too will have the opportunity to become a governor. So that's, yes, we know the kind of immunity what we have as immunity is a lot of is a mess, to put it like some people will say. Is they smell. Is a mess. You turn a man into an emperor just because he occupies office. You can't do that. The least that we should have is that, okay, he can't be sentenced to jail. He can have a suspended sentence. I mean, if he's going to present a political whatever, and what are the provisions for impeachment for? We have provisions for impeachment. We've never tested it. Only maybe Obasanjo has used some people to do it in the case of Bayelsa, I think, and one or two other cases. But we've never really tested it. Otherwise, if we had a tested form of impeachment, there are so many people in governance today who will not be there. You know, and we don't have that. We've turned them into lords, and the governors are becoming stronger by the day. They are holding everybody by the jugular. You know, and that's why a man who is even an ex-governor can still be looking back and be claiming my structure. You can't touch my structure. Politicians understand themselves, but whatever they are thinking of has nothing to do with us and has nothing to do with our well-being. That much I can say. So another one, please. It's one question per person and no tricks. Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Jimmy, good morning.
Morning, sir.
This is Citizen Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling from Olora.
Yes, sir.
The question I want to ask is, the way the securities are being packed at Edo, is it possible that motor will move from Lagos to East and East to Lagos?
That's a question even you can answer, and I know you just want me to say something. What it says is that there will be no movement in Edo State. So if you want to go to the east or wherever, if once you can bypass Edo State, you're good to go. I mean, that should be a given. But it was nice to hear your voice, hear your voice on radio. You won't talk, so. It says no movement in Edo State, period. And I think that to get to the east, I'm sure you can bypass Edo State. There must be a way you can do it if you think well enough. And it's just for a day anyway, so it won't kill anybody. Okay, now. Hello. Next one.
Hello.
Morning.
Uncle Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My question is this. Uncle Jimmy, why is it that when there is severe issues, like the increase in fuel,
Yeah.
Government will bring a dicey, issue to dice it. For instance, it took them just a minute to go and get Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. Now it's taking them the whole year to get Bello just from the backyard here. What is happening?
I will tell you, it didn't take a minute to get Kanu from Kenya. Let me first of all knock that out. It didn't take a minute. It took months of planning. It was a well laid out plot. From the time he took off from London, the plot had started. So don't just think that it took a minute. But I agree with you that I don't know why it's been so difficult to get Yaya Bello, who is in our backyard. I agree with you. I just wanted to correct you on the fact that it didn't take a minute. It was a well-constructed plan. And I don't think Nigeria planned it alone. They must have planned it with other forces. We've seen it happen before. In Buhari's time, when he was a head of state, they were going to bring in Diko in a crate. They have already put him in a crate and were going to put him on board. Maybe it was a ship, only God knows. And then Yawa gassed, and then that plan was sorted. So it's not, it didn't take a day. But yes, I don't know why. What is even more intriguing is the fact that the gentleman claimed to have walked into EFCC yesterday, and he said that he was told to go home, and the only thing that EFCC had to say to that is that he's still wanted. That part I don't get, and I will never get. There's very little you can do to convince me why. I thought that a wanted man means that even if I saw Yaya Bello somewhere in the night at a lounge or somewhere, I should bring out that thing in my pocket and pin him down until the police come, and then I hand him over. So if I did all that, and I got him to I gave him a rope a dope, and I got him to the EFCC headquarters to hand him over, he will deny me the bounty on his head and tell him to go back home again so that we can. In fact, what is more intriguing is that same night, we hear these things we don't know these days, that there was now an attempt to arrest him. I don't get it, honestly. Like I said this morning, I don't get it. The level of competence in the public sector is becoming questionable. If you look at the issue of the NNPC, you look at all these, a lot of government agencies, you begin to question the competence, at public sector level. It's becoming a bit of an embarrassment. If you look at the flip-flops that you get, today this policy is announced, tomorrow that policy, you want to put members of governing council, is all skewed towards one state. You ask yourself, what is going on? What is going on? There's a capacity problem, in our country. And even it's not just restricted. If you look at even the private sector sometimes, is it, sometimes when you look at some of the things that happen even in banks and so on, you ask yourself, what's going on? Is there something wrong with our education? Are we being well trained? Are we being well focused? Are our minds well tuned? Anybody in public sector should have that spirit in him or her that I want to make my country better, I want to make my country run. Rather, what you find is I want to make a quick buck. Because in reality, the take-home pay in the public sector cannot take you. If you are not careful, it will just take you to the bus stop in your neighborhood. You might not even be able to take a keke napep from the bus stop to your house. And we've seen things degenerate all the way down the line. I remember with a lot of nostalgia in the days when you were level 7. 8 is from graduate. If you're a graduate, you start at 8. When you were in level 7 and you were given a car loan to buy a Beetle. And so people walked. People walked. We all had that national spirit. I walked under that dispensation at a lower level. In the 70s, where you found people wanting to walk every morning with a lot of vigor and ambition. But these days, because of nepotism and all kinds of inefficiencies and whatever, you find that everybody is in the public service to make what they can make out. And that's why I was advising the president, that in picking your team, you have to show a lot of fairness so that you will imbue the spirit of making public sector work. If you show a lot of nepotism and so on and so forth, then you shouldn't be surprised if you get sabotaged from within the system. And people input there, let them do the work and let's see. That kind of a thing. So I think that is the major problem that we have. I have to take a short break and I'll be right back.
Talk, news, and sports after this. 365 days of conflict. Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th killed 120. To date, Israel has killed over 14,000 children. These are not just numbers, they are lives forever changed. Join us for the first of our annual Borderlines debate, a symposium on Israel-Gaza war on Thursday on October 10th at 4 p.m. A forum where ambassadors, diplomats, and humanitarian voices will gather to debate the yesterday, today, and the way forward for Israel, Palestine, and the Middle East. Is there a pathway for peace? The Borderlines debate on October 10th at 4 p.m. This is a chance to hear from both sides. Real stories, real stakes, real solutions. Don't miss the repeat broadcast on Friday, October 11th at 4 p.m. Borderlines debate. Thursday, October 10th at 4 p.m. Only on Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
I'm in love. Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop? And is it to stop?
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Looking for ways to overcome challenges in your career journey? The perfect time to step into a world of opportunity is now. At Markets for You, a trusted, well-renowned online trading company with over 17 years of experience and customers spread across the globe. Discover a new way to earn and learn by copying top traders from around the world. No previous experience required. If you're over 18, you can start earning profits from the comfort of your home today. Visit www.marketsforyou.com or call 0912-779-0500, 0912-779-0500 today to start your journey towards financial independence with Markets for You.
My darling, are you ready to go back to school?
Yes, Mommy. I have everything I need. All that's missing is my favorite food to drink, Capri Sun.
Oh, what? No Capri Sun? We have to fix that right away.
Yay! And Mommy, every carton of Capri Sun now comes with a wristband ruler for school.
A wristband ruler?
Get a wristband ruler in every carton of Capri Sun as you go back to school. Terms and conditions apply.
Capri Sun. The taste of fun.
Tell me, do you love this family?
Abuja, brace up as Nigerian Christian Couples Fellowship Alumni International NCCFAI presents the first global reunion service, G-Roots 2024. Theme, Now is the Time. Isaiah 62 from verse 1 to 12. Our theme for this year reflects our commitment to ushering in a transformative period for our nation Nigeria. We anticipate a great gathering of all Nigerian Christians who have participated in the NYSC program since 1973. Happening live at the National Ecumenical Center, Abuja, Nigeria. Friday the 20th and Saturday the 21st of September 2024. Friday 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Ministry at great men and women of God from around the world. For more inquiry, 0703-830-1203. NCCFAI Global Reunion Service 2024. Now is the time.
In Nigeria, the weather can change in an instant, just like life itself. Even when you are caught in a heavy downpour or harmattan has left your skin dry, there's one thing that never changes: the restoring power of Vaseline petroleum jelly. Because we all know when harmattan strikes, if you are not protecting your skin, it cracks. So do your lips, and no one wants that. So Use Vaseline petroleum jelly to keep your skin healthy, smooth, moisturized, and protected all day long, so you can embrace every season with confidence.
Everything surely comes to an end. That dinner, that mushy movie, even that long traffic. But there's one thing that doesn't. Enjoy truly unlimited data with Airtel Unlimited Speed-Based Plans. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to buy now. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Sorry, madam. There's an emergency at the shop. They need you now. It's a serious...
Nothing is more serious than a Golden Mon breakfast with my family. Don't you understand? All our winnings start with a nutritious golden breakfast. Now, sit down. Please join us.
Yes, ma'am. At once.
Breakfast is serious business. Handle it with a nutritious Golden Mon. Now with a great new look. Trust Golden Mon to help fuel your family to win every day. Golden Mon. Make every day golden.
You define better odd. I bet you one play cause over 1.5. I bet you one bet. Say both seem no go score at all. Yeah, we get better payout. No worry, we there for you. Our odd chabrat out. In a day for bet baba. You feel we money, bet baba. Cash out today easy or bet baba. We get online games for you to play. Oh God, all I want. Yeah, we get better bonus. Money me no dado. Yeah, na bet baba day so. Cash up, no sharp. No darling, no. Welcome to Bet Baba.
Register now on betbaba.ng. Not for people under 18.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
You're listening to Jimi Disu right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, now, so you're welcome back to the Daily Digest, and I seem to be enjoying this new format that we have. I think we'll do it a bit more often, where you can. All you will do is not open mic, but you'll just ask me questions. It gives an opportunity for you to ask questions, ask my opinion on certain things. Do we have any on YouTube or on WhatsApp by any chance?
Yes, we have some.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we don't. These are just comments.
Oh, these are comments.
These are just comments. No question.
No question. Okay.
I can't see any question.
Okay. All right. Let's pick the call.
Yes. Let's go to the telephone.
But you can drop your questions on YouTube. You can drop it. Is our WhatsApp functioning?
Yes.
Okay. The WhatsApp number is 08. 1 second, sir, please. The WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. Morning. I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Ayeni Baba.
Yes.
I love your program.
Yes.
I always appreciate you.
Yes.
But I love you seriously, sir. One thing I want you to be doing. I'm not Jagaban's fan.
We want you to ask a question. There are other days. It's not an open mic. Let's learn. We don't have that kind of time. Let's take the next one. You have just a minute. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Jimmy.
Please speak up so I can hear you.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Rita.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Uncle Jimmy, this is my question. What will you say about when a news come out and the journalists over Nigeria Info call them to question them, and they will say the news is false information, is the social media information.
Call who to question?
Like if you called, like the last time Mary Ann called the EFCC and questioned her about Yaya Bello, and he was saying everything we are hearing just information from the social media, not from them. Like the
Well, because I wish I had the material you are talking about, what was actually said. I think you want to say something that I don't understand, but unfortunately, I can't put words in your mouth.
No, not in my mouth, Uncle Jimmy. I'm only saying that. What is it that anytime a news come out, they'll counter it as a false news?
Who are they now? Who are they?
Like. Oh, from the government themselves, their spokesmen will say the news we are getting is
well.
false
What they're doing, what if I think I get you right? What they're doing, what they're trying to say is that some of the things you ask them about is not true, and that the news is from the social media. And the way it goes really is better to rely on the news from the mainstream media, because that is done under very close supervision and professional handling. And because people who are trained are handling such information, I think that's what they mean. Okay? Yes.
Let me take this message for you. It says, Uncle Jimmy, former President Obasanjo said that Africans don't respect their past leaders. Do you think from President Obasanjo former president, it means, Obasanjo could be considered as a good leader, judging by his inability to lay a good foundation for fiscal federalism, good democratic system of governance, manipulation of the electoral system that brought in Yaradua, trying to manipulate the system to go for third term? That's innocent from Oshodi.
Okay, yes. I mean, Obasanjo did some things that he probably shouldn't have done. Like trying to go for a third term, and more or less trying to impose Yaradua way back then on the country. Those were some of his failings. But what you can't deny is that Obasanjo ran the economy fairly well. He's a human being, like all of us. He has his own failings. But Obasanjo is a far cry from what we have today. That much. And Obasanjo was hands-on, and he showed a lot of intellect and drive in governance. You had a president to look up to in Obasanjo. You had a president who, brash as he was, Obasanjo can be very brash, but he had a real concern for the welfare of the people. That's my reading of him, and my reading is unbiased. Okay, I've taken away my personal feelings about him from when he was in the military, and I was a student, and we didn't like him, and I've always been, whether you like it or not, I've always been a fella person, and I have personal things that I probably don't like about him, yes. But in truth, what we have today is a far cry. I mean, come on, Obasanjo paid off all our debts. If we are not sure if the governments we have today, if they had the kind of windfall that Obasanjo did, they would have done that. And the economy was stable. And Obasanjo, look at his cabinet. Look at the powerful people in his cabinet. They were spread across the nation. Obi Ezekwesili, what's the Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Look, for example, I know that in the case of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, I read somewhere that he didn't even know her from Adam or from Eve, as the case may be. She was headhunted. And when it appeared, this is the story I heard, I don't know if it's true, when it appeared that we might not be able to pay her remuneration because she was already earning salary in dollars and so on and so forth, he got an agency somewhere to pick up her bill. That is governance. And Obasanjo was hands-on in his handling of a lot of things. Of course, sometimes they would lead to casualties, but as a soldier and as a nationalist, he looked at the bigger picture. Some of my people said Obasanjo pandered towards the north and so on and so forth. That is politics. Nepotism doesn't get you anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? That is politics. So he had a broader view of a whole lot of things. And look at El-Rufai, Soludo, all these people during Obasanjo's time. But what we have now is a story. You didn't ask me that question, so we'll stick to Obasanjo analysis. You were thinking I was going to drop something. No, I'm not going to drop anything. Let's go on.
Sure, you don't want to drop.
I don't want to drop anything.
Are you very sure?
I'm sticking to the question.
Very, very, very
I'm very sure. Very sure. Very sure. Even from now to when the program ends, I'll continue to say I'm very sure. Yeah, let's take the next one.
There's this Christmas is his name from Canada. Christmas
Yes.
says, Uncle Jerry, my question is about the case of Yaya Bello because you promised us a topic titled The Monsters of Today.
It's still in the kitty. Let me be honest with you. Sometimes I plan these programs, I plan something, then something happens that makes me wait. This job is not as easy as it sounds. We come, we yap for 1 hour, and so on and so forth. A lot of thinking goes into it, and that's why I have a very bad sleeping pattern. Okay, so it's something must have happened. I can't remember what it was, and I decided to hold on to it. Speaking on radio is not as easy as it seems. You got to be careful. You don't want to throw petrol in a fire, and so on and so forth. So maybe one day it will surface again, and I'll see how we can do it in a way that will be safe. Yes.
Okay. Let's take this call.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
This is Malik speaking.
Oh, Malik.
How
are you?
Yes, sir. In your own quiet time,
Mm.
how do you feel about the country called Nigeria? Good morning.
In my quiet time, I spend most of the time weeping. And I mean it literally, in every sense. I was talking to my friend, Muiwama Yakudumi, my Jack. And he said, Jimmy, what was wrong with you last week? I said, why? He said, you were weeping. He said, I studied you very well. Water was not coming from your eyes, but you were pained. I feel pained that after all the efforts I'd put into my life and hoping to enjoy a nice environment in my latter years, what I have is absolutely no hope for now, for either myself, my children, or my grandchildren. And it's painful. Why it's painful is that we have the potential to be one of the biggest countries in Africa. Indeed, we used to be the leader. This ambassador that this gentleman was asking about, go and ask the South Africans how in his own tenure, in his first coming, how Nigeria was what you would call the real giant of the nation. Check any occasion, any event. Once Obasanjo shows up, it is with a lot of respect. He was a shining star in his own time. He has his faults. Not saying that he doesn't have his faults, but the Nigerian star has dimmed. It has dimmed over the years from either having a president who's not too well or not too savvy or not too... I mean, when I think sometimes about Nigeria versus Ghana, the kind of presidents they've had, leadership itself, it has its... leadership also has its... I've lost the word now. Charisma. The charisma that the leader portrays. And that's why a lot of us were fans of Osinbajo, whether you like it or not. I have said it and I repeat it again. I will be glad one day to have a president who, when he has not as mouths to roast from, somebody wants to listen to him. Not a president that even when it comes to photo ops, people will keep a distance from. We have that missing. And that pains me because I'm a nationalist. I have the opportunity to be a citizen of either of two countries, and I chose one. And so it pains me when I'm talking to people, my friends all over the world, in the States and so on and so forth, and my country is being referred to. I'm not one of those who takes a lot of joy in running down his own country. And then you have some people, even Nigerians who live in America also, they tell you, I've heard people say, Nigeria, that's your Nigeria self. It's your Nigeria because you have citizenship of another country. I'm not one of those. And these things can be prevented, for God's sake, and for crying out loud. I sometimes ask, occasionally I think I've had to ask Sheriff that, maybe not these words before he denies me, but I've had to ask him that, are people blind? There's things that you see. There are things that you see that make you wonder that, how did our people come to this kind of decision? How did this happen? But sometimes when I look at it and see that, it might not be exclusive to us. So some of those who have had democracies for so long, might be in the same boat. And I think the person to hold responsible for that, or the factor to hold responsible for that, is the social media. But that's a story for another day. You need a whole lecture to do that one. Hello, good morning. Yeah. It's gone. Hello, morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, good morning to you, sir.
Yes.
My name is Mr. Lucky from Ibejuleki.
Yes.
So I want to ask you a particular question. But I remember under Jonathan, I'm from the Bayelsa State. Under Jonathan, when this policy were being implemented, the people of the South, the leadership there, they called their son to order, and the man made the U-turn. Don't you think that the leadership of the Yoruba nation, that they are failing their own people as Yoruba people by not calling this their son to order based on this policy, knowing that those policies that is put in place now can be changed over by another leadership if indeed the table turn around in 2027? Thank you very much, sir.
I like your question, and I laugh in Latin. Okay, I think increasingly the Yoruba leaders have to be very careful so that they don't make themselves irrelevant to their own people and stop pointing fingers at other people. They need to consolidate and, to do what is expected of any exposed environment, to look at things truly. But I take solace in the fact that recently the Yoruba Council of Elders have actually raised their voices to tell the president that, there is a need for him, and that's the way to do it politely. All said and done, we will learn by error. That's what it is. And it's important that our leaders, especially our traditional rulers, do not make themselves make themselves irrelevant. Ultimately, what do you have? Luxuries, power, and all these things. It's not going to help you with the people the day the people's eyes are opened. You don't want your people to turn against you. There is a need for that warning, to be said. With a lot of responsibility, but I don't think it's restricted. The North have their own problem. They had leaders who had been in power and very little development. The East have their own problem. A lot of their top people did them in at the national level, went in for themselves rather than going for the cause. The South have their own problem. The leaders were more interested in being billionaires than developing their areas. In spite of all the money that has been pumped there, you now have quite a number of millionaires and billionaires, but very little development going on. So it's across the nation, really and truly. It's across the nation. But since this one, I can't deny that I'm a Yoruba man. I am. So since you narrowed it down to my place, but it is a question to be asked of all. Because politics is local. It is my very, very strong belief that politics is local. Those who are doing you in are the people who are closest to you. Where they should take, for example, your senators. You're talking about Yoruba people or Igbo people or Northern people. Your senators. Why can't your senators there say that, no, that 160 million, I don't need it. I can buy a Tokumbo car for 10 million. If I have my own car anyway. Okay, if you must expend that 160 million, give it to me in cash. You take it and go and use it to develop your area. Why haven't any of your own leaders said that? Why? We even had the party that some people were looking up to would bring about change. Their representatives also took this money. So it starts from there. And we need to disabuse our minds from this Robin Hood politics that we play, where somebody is a hero because he has gone to steal money meant for another place to become a star. And then you put facilitated by. There was a time once I've forgotten what was being developed somewhere in Aguda. The board up there for the contract was supposed to be somewhere in the east. We had that about 2-3 years ago. For as long as people don't appreciate that, we will still have this same problem. Our minds need to be opened, and we need to look at things from an extremely rational perspective, not just as it favors us. I mean, we are just like people who wouldn't mind if your son comes home with the most luxurious car and you can't ask him. Or like they say in Yoruba, your son is not a wasman, but he comes home every day with clothes that have been taken from a clothesline, and you don't ask him questions. So all of us are complicit to Oga, including you. Including me. Okay. Oh yeah, next one.
Hello, Mr. Jimmy.
Morning, Madam.
Yeah, this is Joy.
Morning, Madam Joy.
Okay, I have two questions, but let's just make it one. My question is, since this government, I've observed, since this government came in, the bigotry we are having is so loud. And they've not even taken any conscious efforts to make this thing go down. And I keep seeing it. If you go to social media, like anything, it's as if it's a curse that you're an Igbo person. Anybody just narrow it down to Igbo this, Igbo that. They just bring to it. I'm just asking, what has happened? What has an Igbo
Okay, I'll tell you.
Why
I'll tell
are we
you.
soft targets?
First, what appears to be the persecution of the Igbos has to do mainly with Peter Obi. Most of the politicians were caught off guard with the phenomenon called Peter Obi. And so they are afraid. And so politicians have devised all kinds of means to make sure that he doesn't become too much of a national hero. But I think that is thinking in a very parochial manner, and it's very light thinking. It's not like, as Blade would say, deep thinking. Whether you like it or not, those who want to support Peter Obi will always support him because they resonate with what he says. And instead of you to think of how you would say something better and do something better, you go deeper into your culture that has made you unacceptable in the first instance. Everything has a result. This experiment that we have, we will soon see the result. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. We can't continue to play this kind of parochial politics where you want to do ethnic wiping out just because somebody from that area turns out to be a national hero. God did not structure it to be like that. And I can tell that because the other day I had to tell even Professor Wole Soyinka on air that he doesn't understand what is called obedience. Obedience are not Igbo people. Don't get that wrong. No. Obedience are far and wide and go beyond, and obedience are invisible. It's a movement of the mind. It's not a club. They don't have a Capron or a captain or this and that. It's a movement of the mind. People who think along, who agree with the thinking of this man and have watched his life up to where he is now. He has faults like every other human being. But for God, it's just same thing with Awolowo. Same thing with Awolowo. There are people, Ojukwu wrote when Awolowo died, that this is the president that Nigeria never had. And we need to keep our minds on that. It's 9:51. How many minutes do I have?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, so I can't take any other question, so I better round up. We need to get our minds, be more open-minded and be deep thinkers. So I will end it for today here. It was a nice experience. I'm wondering whether we should do it some other time.
I think it'll be nice.
It'll be nice. Okay. The Oga Pata here, who has refused to give me money. I'm wearing a new shirt. You didn't even say you like my shirt. They take. Mr. Disu, shirt in matter. How much did it cost you? Other people are getting dress and allowance. You are not giving me. Eh? And you are wearing a fan. Sorry, sir. Okay, bring the money. Okay, that's where we'll end it for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking to Funsho Ogudikpe, who was trained as a lawyer. On his dad's instructions, he worked in a bank. And then one day, music caught him. Very good music. The first day I saw him solo at Fela's Shrine, my mouth was wide open and I'd known him all along. He didn't tell me. So he started playing music. His band, Ayetoro. I'm sure those of you who are jazz, whatever, would know about him. Today, Funsho is a farmer in Ilesha. And his farm is doing extremely well. Extremely well. How all this happened is the story you're going to hear tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'd like to thank you all for listening. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff Quadri. When you take off these jackets, can you please send it to the nearest quarters for me? Because I think it is my size and it's my favorite color.
No problem, sir.
My favorite color is red. It shouldn't surprise you. When I was in school, I was wearing a red beret now. Ask anybody who was in school at my time what a red beret means. They will tell you. I'll see you all tomorrow at 9. Bye.
.9 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.